Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the 3 Yards in a Cloud of Dust NFL podcast. I'm your host, Josh, and with me, as always, my co host, Jonathan.
Hi.
And we have some news to go through today. My, was that a wild week one?
And a lot of injuries.
Yeah.
With one good piece coming out of it.
I don't know if it's good coming out of it, but.
Not. Yes, the injuries are bad, but there was one good thing that came out of the week that was not an injury.
Yeah. First off, before we get started into the news, though, just want to let you guys know that we have a kind of a special message that we're saving for the end of the episode. So please, if you want to, go ahead and if you don't want to listen to the news, go ahead and skip forward to that. Should be probably somewhere around the last 5-10 minutes of the episode. We encourage you to obviously, go through the whole episode. But if you want to just listen to that last part, it should be somewhere at the end. We'll have the timestamp for it down in the description.
Yep.
But yeah, so please, if you would join us for that one, it's something we really want to cover. And it's not football news wise, but anyways, so please, stay tuned for that.
And don't worry, it's not politics either.
No, it's not politics, but it is something very important that I feel that we need to discuss. So, but with that, let's go ahead and jump into the news. And unfortunately, we have a couple of more former player deaths that we need to report on. First up is former wide receiver David Patton, who was killed in a motorcycle accident. I think it was about a week ago. He was, what did he say he was? He was 45, something like that?
Something like that. It was right around the start of the season.
Yeah. He didn't really do, he is most well known for his time with Brady and the Patriots and winning 3 Super Bowls with them. Outside of that, the other teams that he played for, he really didn't do much, but he became a very quick favorite target of Tom Brady and a fan favorite while they're in New England. And then next up, the other passing that we have to report on is former 49ers standout linebacker Harrelson, who passed away a couple days ago at the age of 37.
Which both of these were really upsetting because they were both really good players on top of good guys who were able to work with the teams they were on extremely well, and they were well liked around their teams.
Yeah, and it's unfortunate when you hear of people passing this young. So we do want to express our condolences to the families of both of these men.
Yeah.
But with that, let's move into
injuries.
Do we want to do the injuries first, or do you want to do your little thing first?
We'll do the one happy news first.
Yeah.
And it is.
Then I'll go into the injuries.
And it is actually Marshawn Lattimore agreeing to a 5-year, $97.6 million extension that could actually go up to $100 million.
I mean, and he's a key piece, a part of that New Orleans defense, so they need him.
Oh, yeah. And on top of it, it's actually $68 million of it is actually guaranteed.
Jesus. That is insane.
With an additional 44 if he hits all his incentives.
Oh, wow. I mean, it's going to be hard to do to hit all of those incentives, but he's a special kind of player. He's a good caliber player, so
but he has 5 years to hit all of them.
Yeah.
So and he is a big target for them.
Yep.
So.
But unfortunately, that's pretty much the only good news we have for the week.
Yep.
Next up, we have a ton of injuries, as we stated before. Leading the pack is Ryan Fitzpatrick with the Washington football team. He will miss at least 4 to 6 weeks after suffering a significant hip injury in that opener.
Oh yeah, he got hit hard on one of those sacks.
He got smacked hard. Yep, he did.
And he was down for quite a bit. He tried. I want to say he came back for a couple plays, but couldn't really move. So he ended up getting taken out.
Yeah. So it is Taylor Heineke's team for at least the foreseeable future.
Oh yeah.
So this is his chance to make his name, and basically, what do you think if Heineke plays well, and they don't decide to put Fitzpatrick back in right away after he comes back from his injury? Do you think this is it for Fitz?
Yes.
So you think Fitzmagic might be done?
Fitzpatrick, if Heineke is able to get consecutive wins with Fitzpatrick out, there's a good chance that Fitzpatrick will probably end up being a backup, and they'll probably throw him in for maybe a quarter in one of the games just to kind of see how well he does coming back. If he ended up doing worse than Minicky, then they'll bring Minicky back in, and that will be their starter for the rest of the season.
Well, yeah, but I mean, if Heineke's playing well, then there's no reason for him to be changed out. So,
yeah,
it's gonna be a wait and see kind of thing. Is if Heineke can play well, then is this the final season of Ryan Fitzpatrick?
Yeah, and to me, I say once this contract is up, if Heineke is able to play well, yeah, Fitzpatrick is pretty much done.
Yeah.
Unless the only other way is Jacksonville picking Fitzpatrick up so he can take the blunt of the hits.
I don't think he's going back to Jacksonville.
Oh, no. I know.
But next up, we have Raheem Mostert of the San Francisco 49ers will miss the entire season after his injury during Week 1.
ACL?
I believe so.
And I'm not fully sure how he pulled it. I just know he pulled it.
It's not. Well, here's the thing. It's not a pull. It's either a tear or a rupture of some kind because he will have to undergo surgery, and he's supposed to be undergoing surgery here within the next couple of weeks, which is why he is done for the season.
Yeah.
It takes a little bit to recover from that. So.
Mm-hmm. We've seen from multiple other football players. We've seen with basketball players. We've seen baseball players. It takes a while. It takes about a year to fully recover.
Yeah.
So.
And then, of course, we also have Michael Gallup of the Dallas Cowboys, who is on the IR for the foreseeable future after being injured in the game against the Bucs.
Yeah, I believe from what I read, if I am correct, it could be longer. Would be 8 weeks. If I am correct. It's between 6 to 8 weeks, but it could be longer if he's not healing as fast as they hoped.
Yeah. So this is a good chance for Amari Cooper to reassert himself.
Oh yeah.
As a top wide receiver in that core, because a lot of people were saying that Gallup was quickly overtaking Cooper and that Cooper was going to be expendable at the end of the season.
Yeah, but now
especially with how well CeeDee Lamb is doing.
Yeah, and now Cooper has a chance to take control of that top spot, and that is definitely gonna help them and help himself stay with the squad and stay at the top of that level.
Yeah. And then a notable injury from your team, the Dolphins, Raekwon Davis is down. So he's on the injured reserve list as well. Not sure quite how long they said, if it was going to be the whole season or if it was going to be just a few weeks.
If I am correct from another thing I did read about that one, I believe they said it was going to be 4 weeks.
Okay.
4 to 6 weeks.
Yeah, because they can't afford to lose him for too long.
Yeah, and he is definitely going to be a big lineman piece that they really would need back extremely quick, because that, like you said, it is really hard to really do anything with that line without him.
Yeah.
He's a big key piece.
Yeah, well, we already saw how Tagovailoa struggled in that game against New England.
Yeah, and I believe he struggled more after he went out, too.
Yeah. Honestly, if it weren't for that fumble, Miami doesn't win.
Yeah.
That last-minute fumble by Harris, yeah. So, yeah, he needs as good an offensive line as he can get.
Yeah, and having that lineman out, that's gonna hurt them for a little bit. But on other news,
yeah, So our last piece of notable injury news goes for the Denver Broncos, who have lost 2 players for multiple weeks. And first up is cornerback Ronald Darby, who is expected to miss at least 4 to 6 weeks.
Yep.
And then, of course, also their star sophomore wide receiver Jerry Jeudy,
who's out for 6 to 8 weeks.
Yeah.
So having both them out for at least 6 weeks, that's gonna be hard to come back from that one.
Yeah. I mean,
yes, they have some talent on the backup squad, but those are the 2 guys they really need.
Yeah, I guess the only good thing I could probably say is the fact that they're playing Jacksonville next week. So
yeah, but what about the next 3 weeks after?
Yeah, at least they'll probably be able to start 2-0. That's about it, though. I can't promise anything after that. We'll have to talk about that when the time comes.
Yeah, and I really don't see him really doing too much for trying to bring back what they've already lost.
Yeah.
So I don't really expect the same amount of production that the other 2 would have done.
Yeah. And so I think that pretty much covers all the news. There wasn't really any notable signings or anything like that, at least not within the last couple of days. Now, I know we didn't put out an episode last week because there was kind of we did put out an episode last week, and that was our preview of week 1. But the reason why we didn't have any news last week was because there was kind of a bit of a mix-up on our part. See, we forgot that there was a week break between the preseason and the start of the regular season, which is very clearly evident in the final episode of our divisional breakdown when we were talking about the season starting later that day, which probably confused a lot of people and just made others just shake their head and cry at our lack of...
And we apologize for that one.
Yeah.
It's like we got about a week ahead of ourselves than what we should have been.
Yeah, the whole thing was we were in such a rush to make sure that we actually got you some form of breakdown of the divisions that, like Jonathan said, we got a week ahead of ourselves. And so, obviously I was able to kind of correct it a little bit by putting the week 1 preview out the day the league started, the regular season actually started, without any issues concerning dates and stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's why there was a little bit of confusion there in that last divisional breakdown episode. We were in such a rush to try and make sure we got everything out. We got ahead of ourselves a little bit.
Yeah,
but don't worry, we're on track now.
We recorded 5 of those 8 in one day.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, because of our scheduling issues.
On top of one of our news from 2 weeks ago too, where we put that out plus then you had the 5 straight when we did our next 3.
Yeah, so that's why we didn't. But also too, because of some other scheduling issues, thankfully we were able to put that preview out the actual week of the season starting, because we had some more scheduling conflicts that kept us from getting together that week.
Yep.
And being able to put out a news episode, which is why there was a 2-week break for the news. But we're caught up on everything. We're working on. I think we've got it to a point to where we will be able to continuously be able to put everything out every week.
And there wasn't really much news from the last week or so anyway, besides what we just put out from this week.
Yeah.
So we couldn't really put much out anyway.
I mean, the biggest news probably was the Ravens losing both Marcus Peters and Gus Edwards for the season. On top of already losing J.K. Dobbins. Obviously, Marcus Peters plays defense, not offense, but you got Gus Edwards, who was supposed to be the guy that takes over for J.K. Dobbins, but then he went down during practice.
Yeah.
That was a whole story. But we'll talk a little bit more about that in our review of Week 1 later today, so stay tuned for that. But first, before we go, there is something that the 3 of us had talked about wanting to come together and put together one of the things that we wanted to do here with this week and every episode until the end of September was we wanted to highlight National Suicide Prevention Awareness Month, which is the month of September. We understand that times are hard. We understand that a lot of people are going through some tough situations right now. You may be struggling monetarily wise. You might be struggling to make rent, keep food on the table. You could be having struggles in the relationship department, whether it's with a significant other, with your family. We just want you to know that you are not alone, and there's always someone there ready and willing to listen, whether it's a friend, a significant other, a family member, or just a random passerby on the street. There is somebody out there that is willing to listen to your problems. You are not alone in this fight. And we're going to continue to talk about this every episode, like I said, until the end of the month. And also, too, instead of our regular in-card of, like, comment, subscribe, and all that stuff, we are going to have the phone number and website for the National Suicide Prevention Hotline posted in every episode. So if you need somebody to talk to, there is somebody waiting for you on the other end of that line that is there, ready and willing to listen to whatever you have to say, to whatever you are going through, and they will do their best to help you. So please, please, know that you are not alone. You are loved. Okay? This is a topic that is very personal to me because it has affected my family, and you can kind of hear I'm having a little bit of an issue. But I know many of my family members. Of course, like I said, we've been affected by it personally, and they can't help but wonder, is there something more they could have done to help prevent it? It's something that I want to make sure. I know I've been to the point to where I've thought about ending it all. A couple of times, been real close once, to where I almost did it. Really glad that I didn't. Was able to, I was able to find people that were willing to listen to help me through and realize that, things maybe aren't so bad. But obviously, my situation is very different from many other people's out there. Some people are most likely going through a lot worse than what I was going through at the time. Now looking back, my situation seems trivial at best. I know my cousin who did commit suicide. His situation was very different than mine. He got mixed in with the wrong people. And like I said, I know there's members of my family that wonder to this day, is there something more they could have done? Could they have reached out? Could they have maybe picked up on a few cues here and there? I know I think that. I mean, I was only 14 at the time, but I wasn't as adept at reading people as I am now. But we know it's difficult.
And we also know even a lot of this will happen when you feel like you're at your lowest. Well, basically, you would basically start thinking things that aren't true, and think basically, would anyone care if I was even still here?
And there
are still a lot of people that care about you. There was a lot of people that just want to know that you're okay. You just have to be able to let one of them.
If we could maybe get hashtag one conversation can save a life.
Yeah, and it really can. I can say
Because honestly, just giving up 15, 20, 30 minutes of your time to listen to somebody who might be struggling, going through a problem, who might be contemplating committing suicide, giving it all up, just you taking a few minutes of your time to listen to their problems and tell them, hey, it's going to be okay. There are people there who care and love you. It can make a world of difference.
it really can, and I've seen it from other people's point of view as well. I've been able to actually physically, so I do know that yes, it is hard to speak up, but if you do, it will help a lot.
Yeah. And if you are feeling that way, one thing that we are going to leave in our in card that we normally have there is our Twitter handles. You let me say this: if you are struggling right now, if you are contemplating committing suicide for any reason, I don't care how trivial it seems. You contact I know for me, go ahead, DM me on Twitter. Put it in the comments in the video below. Reach out to us. We are there. We are willing to listen to you and help you get through this. Okay, we will do our best I can. If we can't physically, if we're not able to immediately help you, we will direct you to somebody who can. I promise you that. Okay, we are willing to listen. We have been through struggles of our own. I know Jonathan and I have both gone through recent struggles in the last couple of months, both in the relationship and in the financial part of our lives. Jonathan just recently kind of went through it again himself here, at least on the financial end. But he's already looking to bigger and better things. Of course, we're the three of us as a group are looking towards bigger and better things in our future. We're working on bigger and better things, but that doesn't mean we haven't been where you were, or are, or could be in the future. So please, feel more than welcome to reach out to us if you just need somebody to talk to. You just want somebody to listen. We are more than willing to do that for you.
And I also have my Snapchat, and if you don't have a Twitter, feel free to use Snapchat or Instagram to DM me at Jonathan Shovel or Johnny Clutch 23.
Yeah.
I'll be on both of those, and I can help you out, and we can talk through them.
Yeah, because like we said, you are not alone. You are loved. All right. So, and like I said, we will have the numbers for the National Suicide Prevention Hotline up in our in card. So please look out for that. It should be on the screen now if you're listening to this. These are people that are there, and they are trained, and they are willing, and they are ready to listen and help you deal with whatever problems you might have. So there is no problem too big that you cannot get through with just a little bit of help.
Yep.
So please, we want to thank you for allowing us to say this. Like I said, we'll be continuing to do this for the rest of the month. It's just something that is very personal to me. Not sure about the other guys too much, but it's something I had to do. We want to thank everybody for their support. We want to say, just there is better times ahead, no matter what. So, with that, I'm not sure there's much more that I can say. Just be sitting here going in circles, saying the same thing over and over.
But thank you for listening, and we'll see you in the next one.
See you later.